Okay, my hair is wet. I put on concealer for this video. I have a sugar-free soft drink. We are ready to go. Hello besties and welcome back to my channel. If you're anything like me and like heavily involved in book talk, I wouldn't even say I'm heavily involved, but this Hot Girls Read drama has been all over my For You page. And then I was like, you know what? This is the best time to title my video Hot Girls Read. But I actually wanted to do a reading video anyway. So today I'm going to be recapping every single book that I have read this year. So let's do it. Okay, you guys, I have officially hit my reading goal. Yay! Granted, I've been in such a slump, so I definitely could have like absolutely surpassed this, but I have read 13 books this year, which I wanted to read 12. So I want to see how many I can do, but we're doing like a little mid-year check-in of all the books that I have read so far. So let's do it. My reading video, my last reading video was 4 months ago. I can't believe it. So if you guys want to see that, it should pop up in the top of the screen. If it doesn't, go to my channel. I went into depth about my January reads, but today I want to talk about every book that I've read this year so far and tell you guys which ones are my favorites. So please go and watch my January reads video before you watch this video, because I go into more depth about the books that I read in January. If you want more in-depth explanations of what I rated these books, then please go and watch that. I'm going to briefly skim over them and then talk more in depth about the other books that I've read. We're starting with Rival Darling. This is by Alexandra Moody. I rated this 3 stars. Not bad. Cute. I want to read the other ones. I do love a hockey romance. Granted, okay, listen, this is actually my first proper hockey romance that I've read. It wasn't smutty, which I had this misconception that this book was going to be smutty, and it absolutely was not. Not even, just, you know. It's cute though. I really liked it. It's young adult. Yeah, I rated it 3 stars. Not terrible. Could have done with a bit more spice, but that's just me. I'm not like a super spicy kind of gal, so I think a little bit more spice would have been good, but it was cute. Yeah, I have a full rant in my January video, so go watch that. Then in January, I think I discovered my 2 favorite books. I'm not gonna lie. Absolutely obsessed. The first one was The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. 5 stars, absolutely incredible book. Love this book so much. I then went from having a 5-star book to having a 1-star book, which was Manhunt by Vanessa Vale. I hated this so bad. Again, go to my January video. I fully ranted about this. I hated this book. I hated this book. I'm so sorry. Couldn't do it. Then I went back to another 5-star book and read Daisy Jones and the Six. 5 stars. This was so incredible. I think this is by far one of my favorite books ever that I've ever read. That I've since watched the show and I continue to listen to the music. Tea, The River, and Let Me Down Easy are my favorite songs. Oh, honestly, the TV show did the book justice, but the book was so incredible. So incredible. Then I read Deep End by Ali Hazelwood, and I gave this 4 stars. Really liked it. Super smutty, which was like, I really liked it. I don't know, it was well written. It was well written. Again, all of these thoughts about all of these books, like in-depth thoughts, are in my January video. So now we're going to get into the books that I've read since then. The first one is We Who Will Die by Stacia Stark. This is the first book in the Empire of Blood series. Now, I listened to this on Audible. I don't really like audiobooks. I'm coming to realize this year that I don't really like audiobooks. But, okay, even still, okay, hear me out. I listened to the audiobook. But I think even if I read it, I still would have given it 2 stars. I did not like this book, okay? I don't know what it is. Some parts were just too hard to follow. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I got over it really quickly. I am also a sucker for a love triangle. I'm a sucker for brothers, like a brothers trope. I hated this. I absolutely hated this. I couldn't get into it. I didn't like Rorik or Tiernan. Like, I'm like obsessed with, like, you know, choosing between the 2 brothers. I didn't like either of them. I was like, go run away, far, far away, and like never ever interact with any of them ever again. I didn't like either of them. Like, I really didn't. They were just problematic and annoying. I also just felt like vampires and gladiators, like, it just felt really disjointed. And I was sad because I had just joined a book club with my friend and her sister and her sister's friends. And shout out to Bobby. Love you. I fucking hated this book. I hated it. I gave it 2 stars. I couldn't get into it. I listened to it on like almost 2 speed. I genuinely, towards the end of this book, I was like, no, I can't do it. So that was We Who Will Die. I'm really sad. I don't think I'm going to read anything else that's in this series. I know that there's another one coming. I did get about, I think I got about halfway, started to get a bit hooked. So I was like, oh, like, I wonder what's going to happen. But yeah, 2.5 is generous. I think 2 stars. Now that I'm like thinking about it, because I wrote in my review that I would be curious to read the next books, I don't think I am. I think I'm okay with just reading that and never knowing what happens. I'm never going to think about it again. Yeah, this was like my first proper romantasy book as well. Like, I've never read ACOTAR, which I'm actually about to start reading, but I've never read ACOTAR or anything like that. And I just was so sad because I genuinely didn't like it. Yeah, everything felt rushed and not thought through correctly, which was really sad because I think that, yeah, the crossover between, like, you know, the gladiator, like, and the fighting aspect of it, and then the vampires and like mythical creatures and things, I just felt like all of it was just not well done. So I think I would have hated it. Not hated. Hated is a really strong word. I hated Manhunt. This I did not like, and I don't think I would have liked it even if I read the physical copy. So yeah, I am very quickly realizing I am not an Audible or like audiobook kind of person. I've listened to a couple of books and I didn't enjoy it. Okay, next I read The Island of Sea Women by Lisa C, which was part of a book club with my mum and her friends. This one is not something that I usually like read. This is historical fiction. And it's about the sea women in Korea on Jeju Island, and like talks a lot about kind of the things that they went through and how they were the providers. Okay, I didn't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting much. However, I really liked this. I learned a lot. I actually did really learn a lot about history that I never would have got out of my way to learn, to be honest, unless it was for reading. So that was something that I was like, this is so interesting. I liked learning about it, and I think I gave this, what did I give this? 4 stars. I genuinely really enjoyed it. I read it. I think the start was a bit slow, and then once I got into it, I read it. It was very sad. I'm not gonna lie, I borrowed this from the library and I had to literally hold the book far away from me because at one point I was ugly sobbing. I'm not gonna give spoilers because I genuinely think that people should read this book and I really, really like it. But there was one part that I was sobbing, like ugly sobbing, and it was just very graphically written in the way that like I could imagine 100% everything that was happening as she was describing it, and I was sobbing. And I called my mum because my mum I started reading it before my mum, and I was like, oh my god, mum, you don't understand, it's so sad. I was like violently sobbing. So that one I actually really enjoyed, even though it was sad. I learned a lot and I think it's really interesting. And yeah, something that I wouldn't have thought to pick up for myself, but I'm really glad that I did. So yeah. After that, I read One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. And I rated this 1 star. I'm so sad. Okay. I really wanted to love this book, mainly because it's a women loves women. Like, it's a lesbian, like, queer representation, and I was so excited for like queer representation. And I know that Casey McQuiston also has written Red, White and Royal Blue, which I actually have. I haven't read it yet, but I have it. And I know that like she's written that, and I've heard really good things about that book. This I absolutely hated. I just couldn't enjoy it. Firstly, okay, listen, it wasn't too spicy, but there were some things, okay? So if you don't know, I can't even describe this without like cringing. Honestly, I was cringing as I was reading this. My phone's died, my laptop's died. Okay, hear me out. I don't want to read and picture in my head people having sex on a subway. My vagina basically pruned because I was like imagining having sex on a train, and I was like a public train, and I've been on a subway in New York, and I was like, like you touch things and then you're like using your hand. No, it like actually stressed me out. I was like, I can't do this. I actually cannot. Like, I genuinely had to skim read so quick, like those parts, because I was like, oh my god, like I'm not normally that much of a germaphobe, but I was freaking out. I was like, what am I reading right now? That lost so many points for me. I just didn't connect with the writing either, and I think that was like, I just had more hopes for this than what it was. I don't know. I didn't really enjoy the storyline. I think I just didn't enjoy it for so many reasons. But yeah, no, imagining people like on the train, oh my god, like I actually have shivers down my spine. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, I'm back to my computer. But I think I'm the kind of person that like a story needs to be very like cohesive. Like I can't have too much like jumping back and forth, and I think the moment that a story feels like super, even like starts to feel disconnected, I'm disconnected. And yeah, I just couldn't enjoy it, and I was so sad. I just could not get into it for the life of me. I genuinely couldn't. This also put me into a massive reading slump. Like, I can't lie. I was in the biggest reading slump after this because I read this in the span of a month and I finished 3 books in between it. Like, I genuinely could not read this to save my life. I'm like reading back my reviews. I'm just laughing because I am very in depth. If you want to follow my Goodreads, I will link it in my bio. I get very in depth. But yeah, that was a 1 star. I feel like I've had a lot of really low rated books this year, which was so sad because I was like I'm so sad because I wanted to like really love the books I was reading, but yeah, I didn't love that. Okay, next I read The Song of Achilles. I gave this a 4. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like feet. So already the Song of Achilles, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. However, this book surprised me. I'm not gonna lie, they mentioned feet, of course, a million fucking times. And I was like, I hate feet. Like, I genuinely hate feet so much. Which, if you know me IRL and you know where I work, is absolutely hilarious. But anyway, different story. Feet, I can't. However, again, more queer representation, which I loved this book. I really did. Now I'm thinking about it, and I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did, but it's kind of been one of those books that's stuck with me. There was just so much yearning and then so much heartbreak. Oh, I can't lie, like, it really did something to me. I was reading it, I was like, oh my god. Like, right up until the end, I was like heartbroken, and I could feel the heartbreak and the yearning through every word that I was reading, which is obviously indicative of an incredible book. And it is, like, it was so well written, like, so well written. I really, really, really enjoyed it, so that was really cool. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, so I really liked it. Most surprising book of the year, I'd say. I know it's got high ratings. I genuinely didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did. So yeah, I gave that 4 stars. I really, really liked it. -1 point for the amount of times that they mentioned feet. But I know that that's inevitable. I do. I really do. I can't do it. But I did read a couple of, like, queer representing books this year, and I'm really happy that I did, because queer representation matters. And yeah, I think that one is an incredible story. I loved it so much. Like, it's stuck in my head. Also, after I read it, I then saw theories about Connor's story being Achilles, and now I can't unsee it. Like, I need it. Like, I need air. So, you know, I really, really do need that. We all need that. Then we get onto my first Emily Henry book, which was Great Big Beautiful Life. I didn't like this. Again, something that I audiobooked. I didn't like it. Okay? I'm glad I audiobooked this one, because I think if I read it, I genuinely would think the same. I am not an audiobook girly, but I was so disappointed. Okay? Like, Emily Henry is one of those authors that you hear about that, like, everyone loves her books, and I don't understand. I genuinely don't. Now, this was giving The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but not done justice. And I felt like, I remember going from Hayden to Alice, to Hayden to Alice, then to Margaret's story, then to Hayden to Alice. And I genuinely was like, what is going on? I felt like I had reading whiplash. I just kept being like, back, forth, back, forth. I felt like I was at a tennis match. I just kept going back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. I was like, what is going on? I didn't like it. I think it wasn't well written, in the sense that it wasn't cohesive at all. At all. It just felt so poorly written. And then the romance aspect of it felt very rushed and also non-existent at the same time. And I felt like it just kept jumping and jumping, and it just wasn't like a nice build-up of romance at all. Yeah, in theory, I think the plot lines could be really good, but I don't think it was executed as well as I had hoped. And I gave it a 3. Leaning 2.5, to be honest. I was so disappointed it was okay. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably a 2. I was really sad. I did listen to it the whole way through, but I just couldn't connect, and I couldn't like listen. I just couldn't. I just can't. I don't know. I just couldn't get into it, which was really sad because yeah, everyone raves about Emily Henry, and I was just so disappointed. So yeah, but I don't know. I really want to read a couple more of her books and see, is this just this one-off? Is this, you know, like, are more of her books like this? If you have any recommendations for Emily Henry books that I should read, please let me know, because yeah, very mixed reviews. But when you get into Book Talk, like, a lot of people glaze Emily Henry, so I was really excited. But yeah, no, not for me. Not for me at all. Okay, then I read The Redo List by Denise Williams. I actually listened to this. This is a Black author that wrote this book, and I kind of liked it. Listen, I'm a sucker for a brother's best friend trope. BFB. No, that's my best friend's brother. My brother's best friend, BBF. Let's go with that. Listen, I'm a sucker for a brother's best friend trope. I really am. Okay. I really like this. I think this was cute. Like, it was cutesy. It was like, yeah, it was cute. I giggled. Like, I hee-hee-ha-ha'd a little bit. I listened to it and I was like, oh, this is okay. I'm glad I read it, but not something that I would read again. Not something that I would be like, oh my God, you have to read this book. Like, yeah, it was okay. It didn't have oomph. I was waiting for more. I was like, feed me more. Please, Papa, more. But no, nothing. It was cute. I liked it, but I didn't love it. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe if I had read it again, but I don't think that the thing that, like, I read a couple of books this year and like I listened to a couple, and I generally think that like I would have rated all the books that I listened to the same as like if I had read them. So yeah, I liked it. I gave it a 3. I definitely give Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry a 2 based off of that. I just went into this like slump. These couple books and then the next book put me into a slump, and I did not read for a long time, which was so sad. So after the redo list, I read It Girl by Marisa Meltzer. It's the like biography of Jane Birkin. Now, I read this. I didn't know anything about Jane Birkin, so it was interesting. I don't know. I couldn't really get into it. I think the writing was... With biographies, it's really hard because obviously the person writing it wants to say that they're unbiased, but of course they're biased. Like, they have an opinion, and I think that her opinion, while she was trying not to show it, was showing, and she perceived Jane Birkin in a certain way, and I think it swayed the writing, which was really sad because I just want to be like, you know, I just wanted to learn more about Jane Birkin, but I don't know. It was okay. Like, you can't say, like, there was a lot of facts and things that I never knew about her. Like, I knew nothing about her, but obviously knew about Birkin bags. So I was like, you know, and I saw it as part of one of the Goodreads challenges. So I was like, I'm going to read it. Yeah, it just... I think if there were pictures, I think if it was written a bit better, it would be better. It was meh. It really was just meh. So, yeah, that's how I felt. That then put me into a slump. When did I finish reading that book? I finished reading it in March. Okay, this took me 10 days, by the way. It Girl was such a short book and it took me 10 days to read, which is how you know that, like, I didn't enjoy it, because usually I will finish a book really quickly, like I did with the next book, which is my last book of my most recent read. I'm not going to say the last book because I'm going to read more, but my most recently read. I read this in May. I went a whole month without reading anything, which is insane for me. I also have now gone an extra month without reading anything. I read this book. I finished it on the 6th of May. It's now the 9th of June. Yeah, I haven't read anything since this. But I finally read The Housemaid. I read this in 24 hours. I devoured this. Absolutely loved it. I read it on the trains. I just read it. Within 24 hours I read it. Loved it. Gave it 5 stars. It was absolutely incredible, and I don't regret reading this. I was a bit scared because it was overhyped, but Charlie, love you girl. She literally like was saying how she devoured this book in 24 hours as well, and I trust her, and I trust her recommendations of her long time. So I don't even know if she watches my videos, but if she does, I think it's clean because you influenced me. This was also part of a book club. So yeah, I read this in 24 hours. I loved it. Very well written, very well articulated. I think so many things can be well written, but if they're not well articulated also, then it kind of lacks. But this just did not lack. Like, perfect thriller. I did not really see it. Like, there were a couple of twists that I didn't see coming, and I was like, like, it just had the right amount of suspense that it kept you hooked the entire time. So I really, really, really liked it. Yeah, 5 stars. Incredible book. Yeah, that is everything that I have read so far this year. I'm actually about to start Lights Out, which I'm very excited for, and I'm also going to be reading ACOTAR because my sister's reading ACOTAR. She's read it already. I've never read it, and she was like, we should read it at the same time because she really wants to send me memes about ACOTAR, and she's like, no one else understands, so I need you to read it so you understand, so I can send you memes. And I was like, okay. So that's what's happening at the moment. But yeah, I have so many books to read. Comment down below what book I should read, or books. Honestly, I'm always down for recommendations. Please let me know. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little episode of Alyssa's Library. Let me know what you guys think. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video, which I think is going to be a vlog. I don't know yet. We'll see. Bye, besties.